You know what? Hold that. Just 1 minute. I need a drink for this one. Just wait right there. But just roll the thing. Roll the thing. I'll be right back. Roll the thing.
I have this reoccurring dream. I feel the warmth of the sun on my skin and the comfort of arms around me. And I want to stay there forever.
Okay. This is Lindsay, and this is my review for Midnight Sun. Let me preface this by saying, going into this movie, I kind of knew it was going to be a giant piece of shit. That being said, this movie was a giant piece of shit. Well, they hosed off Bella Thorne and presented her to us as the girl next door, who's practically perfect in every way, but she has a rare genetic disease where she can't be in the sunlight for even a second. Didn't they already do this movie? I'm pretty sure they did this movie. And I'm not talking about just guy falls in love with girl who's sick. We'll get to that. I'm talking about guy falls in love with girl who's shut up in her home and can't be outside at all. I think they did this movie already, like last year or the year before. What happened to romance? Seriously. Every romantic movie that has come out in the past decade or further, you either have to be sick, like getting rough in the bedroom, or you have to become a vampire. I mean, the greatest romance of the past several years is Guillermo del Toro's porn parody of Finding Nemo. That's a joke, by the way. I really liked The Shape of Water. It was good. But seriously, have there been any other good romances in the last 5 years? I can't think of any. And I'm talking about romantic films that are in the genre of romance. I can't think of any. Maybe I'll think of some while I'm editing this thing, but as I sit here, I cannot think of one. So let's start off with the first problem of this film, and that is that this has been done before, over and over and over and over again. This premise has been done to death, and that premise is guy and girl fall in love, but girl doesn't tell guy that she's really sick. And in some dramatic fashion, he finds out she's sick, but oh, he loves her anyway, and he'll be there for her until she either A, gets through the sickness, or B, fucking dies at the end. So let's list off some of those other movies that have a similar premise. And not just similar, almost the exact same thing. Everything, Everything, A Walk to Remember, The Fault in Our Stars, Here on Earth, Now is Good, Restless, Sweet November, Love and Other Drugs, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, Moulin Rouge, and of course, the one that started it all, Love Story. So if you don't know already, the basic storyline is this girl has ectoderma pigmentosus, also known as XP. It's a rare genetic disorder where the body's ability to repair damage done by UV rays is deficient. That's the definition. That's what this disease is. In the movie, they treat it as if she's out in the sun for a second, she's dead. She's dead. Can't be in the sunlight at all. Where in real life, people with XP, they can wear clothing that hides their skin from the sun, high concentration sunscreen. They aren't completely confined to their homes behind special windows and only able to go out when there's no sunlight. It's just not true. It's very, very overly exaggerated. But hey, it's a movie. And the movie starts out with a voiceover by Bella Thorne. And her character's name is Katie. And she pretty much tells you her entire life story, all through the opening credits. tells how her mom died when she was young, that she has this disease and she has to be stuck inside the house, and she's watched this guy every single day skate past her window, and she feels kind of left out because she's had to stay inside every single day of her life, and she can only go out at night, and she likes to play music. It's just her and her dad and her one friend, and that's all she has. So when the movie actually starts after the opening credits, you have all the information that you need. Characters don't speak in exposition in this movie. It's all spat out to you in the opening monologue.
I have a severe sensitivity to sunlight. Doctor appointments became a part of my routine. So I spend all my time indoors, behind special windows, sleeping during the day and staying up all night, and playing music every chance I get.
And this movie is expertly crafted. It is expertly crafted to emotionally manipulate the audience. They have every single piece that you need so that you are fully invested in this love story, and that this girl, Katie, is the absolute most perfect human being in the world. They've got all the romantic pieces and all the stereotypical characters that are part of these movies. They've got the girl who's sick and she plays music. They've got the guy, and he was the popular dude. He was the jock, but he got hurt and lost his scholarship. And so now he's looking around at all his friends and is thinking, there's gotta be more to life than this. He's got the two jackass friends that just want him to party. She's got the quirky best friend who's all awkward, makes a joke out of everything and pushes her to do stuff that she's not really ready for. And they have the jealous bitch, the one that thinks that she should be with the guy instead of the sick girl. And they don't even use these characters the way that they're supposed to be. They're just there. They're not used as fulcrums in the plot. They're just there. Like, yep, we need this character, this character, this character, and this character. Okay, we got them. Are we gonna do anything with them? Nah, it's just in these movies, you gotta have those characters. It's kind of funny, at the beginning of the movie, she likes to go to this train station to play her music and sing for whatever reason. They don't really go into why she likes to go there. But she's singing this song, and yes, I'm pretty sure it's Bella Thorne actually singing. And she's singing this song where the lyrics are keep reaching, I keep reaching, but she like smushes the words together so it sounds like I keep breaching, like a whale or a baby that's being born. I keep breaching. It struck me funny. There's so many forced, overly saccharine moments in this film. Some of the dialogue is just so cringy. There's one interaction between her doctor and her dad, and the doctor is telling her how, you know, this disease, it happens to 1 in a million people, and the dad goes, well, that's fitting because she is 1 in a million. And another one of those moments is they have the stereotypical, let's take the girl and we're gonna do her hair and her makeup and put her in a nice dress while the dad waits downstairs because he's finally gonna let her go out to a party. And the best friend who got her all made up comes down the stairs and says, here she is, and they have the slow walk down the stairs. They still do that in this movie. They fucking did it in this movie. Bella and the boy, who, by the way, is played by Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. No, not that one. The one he actually had with his wife. Katie and, what the fuck is his name? So Katie and Charlie, great names, by the way. Katie and Charlie, they're gonna have this big date night out. The father's kinda, I don't know if I should let you do this, but I'm gonna. They go have this big date night because they can only go out at night. And also, he still doesn't know that she's sick. She hasn't told him yet, and he hasn't figured it out yet. They've been dating for like 3 months, and he's not even the least bit suspicious about the fact that he's never seen her during the daytime. They have this big date night. They get on a train and go to Seattle and have this fun-filled night. They go to Fisherman's Wharf and they go to this live music show, and they're at this small riverfront area, and he has her pull out her guitar and sing in front of a bunch of people, and all of a sudden this huge crowd forms and they're all dancing and getting into it. And it's just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Then they take the train back home, and back home they're walking along by the ocean, and she's like, let's go swimming. And so they go swimming. The whole time during this swimming scene, I was just hoping this would happen. So after they get out of the water, they're laying on the beach. They've got a little fire going. They're just kind of cuddling up on each other, talking about the stars in the sky. And they're talking about how perfect this night was. And Charlie says, and what's gonna make it completely perfect is this sunrise that's gonna come here any minute. And she's like, what? What time is it? And she looks at her watch. She's like, oh no, it wasn't waterproof and I wore it in the water. And so she grabs her phone. She sees all these missed calls and missed text messages from her dad, like, where are you? It's getting late. Have you looked at the time? And she's like, holy crap, the sun is about to come up. So let's pause right there. She's lived with this disease pretty much her entire life. Her entire life has revolved around the fact that she cannot go out in the sun. So this is like summertime. Sun goes down 8:30-ish, and the sun comes up at like 5:30. So they got on a train, went to another city, saw a music show, did all this other crap, went back on the train, went swimming. You'd think she would know that that takes a lot of time. That, hey, you know, we've been having this date for like 8 hours now. Maybe I should look at what time it is so I don't die. In a life and death situation, you'd think she would have thought, hey, this date has been going on for quite a while. I wonder what time it is. And he still doesn't know that she has this illness. So she freaks the fuck out and grabs her stuff and just starts booking it on foot. And he's like, what is going on? What's happening? And he gets in his truck and starts to follow her. And she is just mad dashing it, trying to get home. And he pulls up in his truck and he's like, get in, get in. And she's like, go, 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 go faster, go as fast as you can. And he still has no idea what's going on. And they are literally racing the sunrise to her front door. And so they pull up to in front of her house and she runs inside, but the sun is already up and she's in the light for maybe 10 seconds and runs inside and slams the door. And he still doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He's like, what's going on? Why did you take off? Why won't you let me in the house? So the dad shows up because he's out, I guess he's been out looking for her. And he's like, is she inside? And he's like, yeah, what's going on? And he doesn't tell him. And he runs inside to make sure that she's okay. And then the best friend shows up because she was out looking for her too. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And the best friend is just bawling, crying uncontrollably, and is like, she's sick. And he goes, what do you mean she's sick? And the best friend shouts back, she has XP, and runs into the house. And he's just standing there like, what the fuck just happened? What's XP? I don't know what's going on. Poor guy. God. So because of this incident, she has to go to the doctor and do a bunch of tests, and come to find out that teeny tiny little bit of sunlight, early morning sunlight, less than 10 seconds, is gonna make her die. She's gonna die now because she had that little bit of sunlight. What? It's gonna make her brain swell and she'll lose all her motor functions and all this other shit because she was in the sun for just a few seconds. Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't. It was so unbelievable. And so she isolates herself and she doesn't want to talk to the guy, and he keeps texting her and she's like, I don't want to hurt him. It's like, well, he just wants to talk to you. He has no idea what's happening. You're hurting him by not talking to him. There's some passage of time and they show her getting sicker and sicker. And their way of showing her getting sicker is they just don't poof her hair up as much and she's kind of pale. That's it. That's how they show her getting sicker. Oh, and her hand shakes. That happens too. The dad feels bad about the whole situation, and so he fixes it so that Charlie comes over to the house without Katie knowing, and they reconcile and they get back together, and the rest of the movie is them just spending a bunch of time together. Another thing that Charlie does is he takes her to a recording studio to record the song that she wrote for him, and he records it on his phone and he puts it on YouTube. He gets his scholarship back, which is another stupid thing in this movie. He gets his scholarship back because she called the college and told the coach, you should take another look at this guy. And so the coach does and gives him his scholarship back. That never happens either. Why the fuck does that coach care what she thinks? Who is she? He doesn't know who she is. So the end of the movie, she's very near death, which physically she doesn't look it. Charlie is taking care of a boat during the summer. That's his summer job. And he's like, I gotta go check on the boat. I'll be back in an hour. And she's like, I wanna go too. And the dad's like, what? What are you talking about? It's still light out. He'll be back in an hour. And she's like, no, Dad, let me do this. And he says, yes. So they take her outside and put her on a boat. And her and Charlie sail around the bay or whatever and watch the sunset. And then she dies. And then she's dead. And guess what? That's not the end of the movie. You thought Return of the King had a bunch of endings? Holy shit. They show them spreading her ashes in the ocean. They show the best friend all sad at work. They show the dad giving Charlie some of Katie's things. And then Charlie comes to say goodbye to the dad because he's going off to college with his awesome scholarship that she got back for him. And then he's in the car and he turns on the radio and the radio says, hey, there's this hot new song that's going viral on YouTube and now you're gonna hear it here. And they start playing her song that he recorded. And he calls the dad and says, turn the radio to this station right now. And so the dad does, and he's in his office at work, which we've never seen before. And he starts blaring it and starts yelling to all his coworkers, that's my girl, that's my baby girl. And that's still not the end. They show Charlie parking at some overlooked place and taking out a letter that she had written to him that he'd never seen before. And the movie ends with her voice reading the letter out loud. And then finally it ends. So I don't know what the filmmakers were trying to get us to feel with this movie. I mean, they pretty much just wanted to make people cry. They didn't make me cry. The lady next to me was bawling her damn eyes out, but I didn't cry. And they manufactured the character of Katie to be this almost saint-like figure, that she did no wrong, she was an amazing musician, and she could sing so well, and everyone loved to hear her sing, but she was terrible to this guy. She deliberately kept information from him for selfish reasons. The biggest problem I had with this movie is the fact that they use illness as some kind of endearment tool. And that's how it is with the majority of films that use this premise. Being sick isn't endearing, trust me, I know. As a person who has struggled very hard with a chronic illness for most of her life, These kind of movies, they kind of piss me off. And not just for the way that they portray sickness, but it's used as a way of making a character charming or tragic, when in real life, an illness does neither of those things for a person. It can make a person stronger, it can give a person a unique outlook and perspective on life, but it definitely does not make the person themselves charming or endearing or elevated above other people. I mean, if you really think a disease is charming, why don't you come pay my medical bills? There's even a line in the movie that Katie says when she's trying to justify to herself and to her friend why she hasn't told Charlie that she's sick. When you tell people you're sick, you become more of the disease and less like a person. What the fuck does that mean? And that's just bullshit. The guy who directed this, Scott Speer, is mostly known for directing a Step Up movie and a bunch of music videos. And it's written by a guy named Eric Kirsten, and this is pretty much the only thing he's ever written. And hopefully it will stay the only thing he's ever written. But it's not. He's got 2 projects in production, and they're both about architects. I don't know. But seriously, I mean, what happened to romance movies? A romance film should explore what it means to be in love and how love works between 2 imperfect people who come together. In this movie, the only thing that gets in their way is the fact that she kept her disease from him. It has nothing to do with how they interact with each other or if they have common interests. The only thing that is their obstacle is her disease. That's not compelling. And I'm not gonna say still a better love story than Twilight, because this movie is fucking Twilight. It's set in the Pacific Northwest outside of Seattle. She's raised by her single dad. It's 2 boring ass people that fall in love, and one of them has a secret that involves not being able to go out in the sunlight. I mean, the one good thing I will say about this movie is God bless Rob Riggle. He is trying so hard in this movie. And there are a couple times he made me laugh, but he was the only silver lining in this shitstorm.
How many times a week do you shave?
Shave, like...
That's gonna do it for this review. Till next time, check you later.
This feeling, my troubles will be out of my sight. La da 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 da. My troubles will be miles away. I slip my shoes on, take a spin or 2. Tell me, how does this look to you?